I'm just wondering. Let me ask this: do you have to get paid to be what it is that you are? I want to know. So like, can you like legitimately be a barber, but you don't have paying clientele?
Wow.
You know, it's funny. I was going to kind of go down this path of like being paid because like I think if anybody has ever started business, I'm in my first couple years of business. When you start to value really what you do, is when my price today isn't the same price as yesterday.
Right.
But like
Today's price.
yeah, it's not yesterday's price. And I think like when you start to do that, I think even for me now today, watch me develop. I'll give somebody a quote, and a part of me is kind of like, was that too much? Or do I feel justified in giving them this? And it wasn't until like last year where I was like, yes, and I'm okay with whatever answer you give me. We good. Anybody else have to go potty?
I'm a grown man. Don't ever refer to it as potty.
I said,
We ready?
I don't.
we ready?
I
We
don't
ready?
potty. I don't do
Yeah,
that.
no. Unless you from Boston and you talking about a celebration.
A potty.
We going to the potty.
Give me the car keys.
The car keys and the potty. Yeah. All right, man. Here we are, another episode of WMD. Watch me develop.
Yeah.
Like to welcome all our listeners and those of you that are viewing us on the interwebs of YouTube, IG, wherever you may find this at.
Yes, sir.
I am one of three of your hosts here today. Donald R. Johnson III, a.k.a. Don the Blaptist, a.k.a. of AKAs. Y'all know what it is.
Right.
Also, we got here Brother JR.
What's happening?
Media extraordinaire.
Media mogul.
Right? And then we have also none other than the fully patented owner.
Yeah.
That boy, we're going to call you Patent Leather because you're so patented. Ergo Dog,
Yes,
owner,
sir.
entrepreneur, barber extraordinaire, Josh Bonds. Yeah. We here, man. So, again, for those of you guys that don't know, man, Watch Me Develop, we are all, aspiring creatives. Definitely approach our gift and our talent, our ability to create from a biblical world perspective,
Right.
Biblical worldview. And so we're just here to encourage you guys. Like my saying is to encourage you to be encouraged, discourage you from being discouraged. Hopefully you guys will get something out of our conversation, man. We're here to have real relevant conversations. And kind of just share what our process is as far as how we're developing in our gifts and our talents and abilities, and turning these gifts into a provision for our families, for our legacy, building a legacy.
Absolutely.
And that's what we're all about here. And hopefully it encourages you and inspires you, motivates you, and you'll find some information that will transform you so you can do the same.
Right.
Right?
One.
So let's just kind of jump into. I mean, first of all, let's check in. Like, how's everybody doing? It's been a minute since we got together, but how's everybody doing? How y'all doing, man?
I'm doing good. I'm doing great.
That was the longest 30 days ever. Not in a bad way. It just seemed like that was the longest month of all time. Like, just getting out of the first month. Honestly, man, it's just kind of cool to see the ball rolling on a lot of ideas and projects that we've been preparing for.
Yep.
Especially stuff like this. You know, this being our second session in filming.
Heck yeah.
Content's going to be immaculate.
Yes.
For sure. Around my house, we've been really busy lately. I've been working overtime because product just came in. So we've been building up we've been assembling the leashes.
Okay.
So I'm working overtime, which means Nadia's working overtime. So it's hectic in the house. We're trying to find balance once again. But there's a lot of great things happening. Like I told you, Donald, the patent came in 2 days ago, which is dope. So we're officially patented, which is crazy exciting. And yeah, man, I just look forward to seeing like what else this year has to offer, man, because it's a lot starting out.
Yeah.
It's funny. I was talking to Erica this morning. We were talking about the leash and everything. I was like, I just can't wait until Josh is on whatchamacallit. What's the show?
What, Shark Tank?
I've had dreams of him on Shark Tank, like literally.
Yeah.
And he's like, yes. It's like, so how many you have in sales? We have about 5 million in sales right now. It's like, I'm looking for a 10%. Blah blah blah.
Hey,
Right.
shout out right now to Damon John and Mark Cuban. Y'all need to holler at my
straight
boy
up,
right now.
Mr.
Straight
Wonderful,
up.
whoever it needs to be.
Yeah.
Kevin Hart, if you want to get in on this too.
Right.
It's up to
up.
Josh.
Right. You saw him on there?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was dope,
dope.
man. I'm looking forward to. I haven't watched any of the Black Sand stuff,
watched
but
it.
I see it pop up constantly. I'm gonna go ahead and peep that out, man. That's something that's dope. That's why. That was the whole purpose of me wanting to do this and like just open up this platform, man, because I honestly just being here in this little small town of Suisun, like if I feel like a lot of people sleep on us, you know what I'm saying, out here, because we a little town. We like the place that Jesus came from. Like, can anything good come out of Nazareth, man? We got it's all good here in Suisun.
Right.
So you about to see that. But we just a little nook and cranny town that's here in the Bay Area. For all y'all that want to contest that,
Right,
we are the Bay Area. We got a Suisun Bay.
We
and
touch
we part
water.
of the Bay Area. We touching water.
Literally.
So for all y'all that don't want to own us, hey, look, don't be like don't Mike Jones us.
Right.
You used to didn't want me, but now y'all on me. Look, hey. We coming to let y'all know that we got something to say. We
Yes,
like
sir.
Outcasts out here, man. We letting you know Suisun got something to say.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yeah.
No, but on the real, man, like it's cool seeing how a lot of just regular folk, like it's almost like death of the celebrity right nowadays. It's like that's how I feel. That's how I would describe it. I feel like right now in the creative space, in the metaverse, in the real world, whatever it is, I don't know where you spend your time at, but I feel like it's similar to the Wild Wild West, right? You think about when people started moving, migrating west,
Yeah.
it was like kind of like just open season. Like you just, you know what I'm saying, you just pull up, hop out, set up shop, and if it works, it works. And then
Right.
and there you are, you're established.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel like it is right now. It's like whatever your hands can find to do, and you be diligent with it, and you find you gonna develop a tribe and a following,
Yeah.
and people that will support it, and
Yeah.
and you set. And then on top of that, it just like it kind of inspires those that are around you to do the same. And so, man, I feel like there's like just this contagion of creativity, man.
Yeah.
That's breaking forth and springing forth, man. And I'm all about it right now.
Yeah.
I mean, and that goes for like regardless of age, gender. You know what I'm saying? If you one of the two, it don't matter. I'm just saying. Look, it doesn't matter where you at, your age, whether you from a big city, you from a small place.
Yeah.
Don't matter. It doesn't matter if you're young, you old, somewhere in the middle. If you got something, you need to be diligent about it and just start operating and functioning in it.
I think the cool thing about it is, like you were saying, there's a space for everybody in every niche. It's funny. My kids watch this show from Australia. It's called Bluey, and my wife, and even though this doesn't have to necessarily do with business, my wife found a Facebook page. It's called Bluey Moms of the World or something like that.
Wow.
So it's all mothers that have kids that watch Bluey,
Yeah.
and it's
Wow.
like their love for the show Bluey, and it's just
Yeah.
like that goes to show like how much technology and the internet has created a platform and place for everybody to kind of get into your niche. So I don't have to necessarily fit into this box or fit into this box. That you're able to do things. Like, interesting thing, besides him being in the media right now for the whole Spitgate and everything like that. But I look at a dude like Mike Todd, for instance, right? somebody, for instance, that like he's a pastor, but also is a musician, but also is a producer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's a producer. So
Bro,
like,
I ain't know nothing.
Yes,
nothing
bro.
about none of that.
so like before he became a pastor and got into ministry. I mean, I think his family and stuff was in ministry too, but he was a producer. And so like even now, obviously most celebrity pastors are writing books, but he's making music.
That's dope.
And so like for him not to kind of be pigeonholed into like, okay, you're a pastor, you just have to do this, and he's like, well, I can still give God glory in all the talents that he's given me. Like I don't have to shelf this talent that I had before now that I have this calling.
Right.
I can do a multitude of things and allow God to use me.
That's interesting that you said that because like that's one of the things I kind of wanted to talk about today. I think it kind of leads into it, or is a good segue into one of the things I wanted to kind of like bounce off of you guys and hear your thoughts about. But so there's this phenomenon called like imposter syndrome, right? And so what's interesting is like, there's the saying that just because you can do a bunch of things doesn't mean that you should do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so you have an individual who might, maybe they can, like you said, let's just use Mike Todd for instance. Like you said, he's multi-talented, right? He's a great orator. He can speak. He obviously is a musician. He's a producer of music and stuff. So it's like, should he have to decide to be one or the other, or is it like what is it? Is he a musician pretending to be a pastor? You know what I'm saying? Or is he a pastor who is pretending to be an artist? What is it? Where does it go? Not saying that I'm saying that these are my thoughts about him, but I'm just saying using him as an example of just an average Joe that has the same abilities. Where does he stand, or can he be all of the above?
Right.
I like how you use the word pretend, even though like you said, you're not describing him with that word, but it's like when you've been given like this new niche or like this new, I don't even know how to really describe it. Like you're in a particular area but you operate kind of differently. So it's like, am I this pretending to be this? It's like, no, I am
right
this.
So how do you know that you are? Like for instance, we last time we talked, you were like, man, you knew for sure that like I'm going to college, I'm gonna play ball, and then that didn't, that was interrupted, right? And so you were kind of like, okay, I went back to serve in my church, and I was like, oh, I can shoot video or I can edit this. At what point in time were you like, I am this? I am a director of media. I am a producer. I am a videographer. At what point did you?
I think it for me personally, it ultimately became my proficiency in those vehicles, if that makes sense. So in my thought process as somebody that is in ministry, full-time ministry, I'm a youth pastor. I also have a media business. I also I'm a musician. I start to realize like when I kind of take it back down to the bare bones of who I am, like I'm a believer before all those other things.
Yeah.
And so, God, how can I best serve people? How can I best serve your kingdom with the gifts that you've given me? And I think that when I got back down to having the heart of being able to serve people is where I kind of figured out, okay, this is where I'm proficient at. Rather than trying to self-serve or trying to figure out what I'm best at or what's the next best thing or being distracted by what other people are doing, I came back down to, okay, God, what do you have for me? What have you given me? Allow me to see the things that, and gifts that you've given me in my life and things that I've had access to. Like I was saying last couple episodes ago, I didn't know about my gifts until I started allowing God to use me, if that makes sense. So I think when you kind of get to that point of like, going back to the manual, you guys ever had like bought a new piece of equipment or maybe bought like a new TV and you don't really know quite how it works? You have to go back to the manual to see what it says about how the thing works. I think for me, it's kind of like going back to the source, like, okay, God, how am I supposed to work? You've been giving me these tools and these gifts. How am I supposed to work in this area?
That's good.
Wow.
Yeah. What about you, Josh?
Man, this is a lot to unpack right now. And I'm thinking about it in so many different areas of my life, right? But I remember when I was first like pursuing becoming a barber and like actually getting paid for it. You know, initially there was a part to where it was like, okay, I'm cutting my own hair, right? And then it's like, oh, asking my brothers, let me line you up real quick. And then, but when I started to consider it as a profession, even though I had already been doing it, there was naturally like insecurity that started to arise, right? And I remember when my first like clients, right? Because that's what they were becoming. Now it's not just people who are just like, oh yeah, bro, can you hook me up a little bit? These are now paying customers. I was almost like uncomfortable giving myself in that way, even though it was something that came naturally to me. And I think the mindset is behind it. Like, okay, I know that I can do this, but do people really want this from me, right? And so I felt like an imposter in those moments. So stepping outside of that, something that helped me to feel more comfortable with, I remember was my mom, because my mom was the barber in our household prior to me. And one thing I know that she could do, she may not have been the best barber, but you were always gonna leave looking better than you came, right? So I adopted that for myself, and I was like, okay, how can I figure out if this is what people really want from me? Okay, I'm gonna give them the first haircut for free. That's what I'm gonna do. And then if they come back, that's how I know they really want that from me, because they've left whoever their barber, or their original barber is, or whoever they consider their barber right now, and now they're coming to me to be their barber. You know what I mean? So that's when I knew, like, okay, people want this from me. So I feel like there's always a, essentially a feeling out of the market to determine, okay, do people want what it is that I have to offer? But then also being confident enough to say, I offer this and this is what I do, when people aren't desiring it. You know what I mean?
That's good. I think there's a couple of key things that you put in there, because so I'm just wondering. So let me ask this: do you have to get paid to be what it is that you are? I want to know. So like, can you like legitimately be a barber, but you don't have paying clientele?
Wow.
You know, it's funny. I was going to kind of go down this path of like being paid, because like I think if anybody has ever started business, I'm in my first couple years of business. When you start to value really what you do, is when my price today isn't the same price as yesterday.
Right.
But like
Today's price,
not yesterday's price. And I think like when you start to do that, I think even for me now today, watch me develop. I'll give somebody a quote, and a part of me is kind of like, was that too much? Or do I feel justified in giving them this? And it wasn't until like last year where I was like, yes, and I'm okay with whatever answer you give me. Same time, back to your question, my wife gets on me with this all the time. She's like, why are you always trying to give everybody the hookup? Because on one part, it's my heart to serve, but at the same time, I gotta feed my hungry kids,
Right,
and my wife. Just like you said the other way, I gotta pay for my wife once,
right,
Exactly.
right, because you don't want to be walking away from a thing and they be like, nah, we cool, we good, and your wife, and you be like, because you listen to the voice of the woman,
right?
You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Right. No, for facts.
Love you, Erica. I was just playing,
Right.
Anyhow, but nah, seriously, that's very accurate. I'm just, the reason why I asked that, because one of the things that you said is, which is something that I'm learning, because as a music producer, as a songwriter, as a maker of music, I mainly have been my own client. Right? That's basically what it's been.
Yeah.
I've mainly been my own client. So it just so happens that the music that I make, people like. You know what I mean? And I have had some people ask me to make music for them and stuff like that, and produce tracks for them, and I don't feel as confident.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? I don't feel as confident doing that for them,
Right,
as I do for myself.
Right.
And I'm a pretty hard critic on myself. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
just straight up. I'm my own worst critic. And so, and that's why I raised that question, because now I'm just coming to a point, especially with the fact that I'm breaking into the sync licensing realm, and I learned, that was one of the things I learned, is that it's a market, just like you said with, I'm cutting somebody's hair, and is this something that they really want? I'm learning how to craft my music in a format in which somebody needs. And so I'm going from just being a creative from just being a producer to where now I'm providing a service for someone, right? I'm providing a service. Like that's the main thing, that I'm not just making something and throwing out there and be like, yeah, you should get on this.
Yeah.
But rather like, what is it that you need? What are you looking for? I do this, and would this work for you? Do you think that this could fit for what it is that you're looking for?
Got you.
You see what I'm saying? So that's why I asked like, so do you technically have to be paid to be, because as of right now, I'm technically not a sync licensed producer at the moment. At the moment, not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet.
But that's what I'm shifting toward. And
so I definitely I think what it comes down to is growth, right? Like, is a apple seed, you feel me, an apple tree when it's planted in the ground. You know, it's like, no, maybe it's not an apple tree right now, but it will be an apple tree after it undergoes a process and it grows into that. You know what I mean? The apple tree still comes from that seed, you know?
Watch me develop.
So watch me develop, right? So in regards to this, like, I think maybe there's a difference between being, so as a barber, let's say like as a barber, right? If I'm a barber, I call myself a barber, but I have no heads to cut. Am I really a barber? So at the same time, I think payment, or I think if you have people that are coming to you that want your service, they can pay you an experience, right? Like, okay, I have the experience of going through business transactions with someone now, and now it grows you into the next level of whatever it is you're calling yourself a professional in, right? Like, so for instance, for me, I know that a part of my growth was just cutting family and friends. That got me confident and comfortable enough to complete strangers and accept payment, right?
Yeah.
So now I'm going from a certain level of payment to more payment to now, okay, well, next thing you know, I have family members that are celebrities that were married into the family that asked me, yo, while I'm still in barber college, hey, bro, can you cut my hair? I have a show tonight. I was extremely nervous, and I started to feel like an imposter in the moment, but everything leading up until that point had got me ready to say, okay, yes, I can provide you with this service because I am a barber, because according to all the other people who I provided haircuts for, you know what I mean, I've been that. And so it's these experiences that take us to the next experience and take us to like kind of like the pinnacle of whatever it is our career field is. What were you gonna say, Jay?
I'm happy you brought that up. Go ahead.
Because I got a question that's quite controversial. Come on. Now that you brought up about cutting heads and prices, because this tends to be a real controversy right now with barbers. Let me say for the record, right? For those of you that might not be watching this. Hey, I ain't had hair since 1999. Right? I'm bald, but I'm called. I'm gray, but I'm great.
On,
so listen. So Josh, last time I like really paid, or like when I first was paying for haircuts, right?
Yeah.
Bro, it was like you go to the barber and it's like $15 in a tip, right? So you leave out of there like $25, right? $25 you pay for a haircut.
$15 in a tip, you said?
Yeah, like $15 in a tip.
It's tipping great. That's
right. Usually it's a dub.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm saying, like, if you really did a good job, like you wasn't like catting off and was talking the whole time while you cutting the hair. You know what I'm saying? Like you ain't
right.
You ain't in there trying to sell bootleg CDs and DVDs at the same time you trying to cut my hair.
Right.
Got barbecue plates in the back.
So yeah, Jones foot rub, Jones barbecue foot massage. No, but on the real, like, so, dude, I'm seeing cats paying like, $50 for a haircut, and that's not including the tip.
Absolutely.
So I'm just curious, like, at what point in time do you think that started? And like JR was saying about like, trying to figure out, did I charge this person too much? Or, the balance between giving them the hookup and like charging for what I'm worth.
Right.
Right. So how do you find that balance as far as like, how did things get to where they are now? Cause like, I'm seeing like, I'm just gonna grow my hair out.
Right.
We don't get it dreaded.
So I think there's definitely like two aspects. Like that's like twofold. Something I want to speak to. So one aspect of it is inflation, right? Like $10 today won't buy you as much as $10 bought you like 10 years ago or even 20 years ago. So at the point in which the price for things that we need are going up, like the price of my service also has to go up, especially if my service is what's paying the bills at my home. Right. But your ability to be able to increase your price, and stay competitive all depends on how in demand your service is or how in demand you are giving that service. You know what I mean? Which comes back to people wanting what you have to offer. Like if people really want what you have to offer, you can raise your price, and though it might cause a few people to fall off, well, the people who remain but are paying you more can still help you pay for your bills. Quality of customer. Yeah, exactly.
I was gonna bring that up. You already brought it up already, but I'm not gonna name who the person's name was that you cut their hair.
Yeah.
But was that the moment you were speaking of, where it's kind of like, hey, I've been cutting family members and close friends up to this point.
Yeah.
I've been in school. I don't know when you cut his hair, but then when you cut his hair, was it kind of like, don't mess this up because the value of this customer is like worth 10 or something like that.
So I'm gonna speak to that. So actually, the person who I originally cut, it was Adrian Marcel. That was the person who was brought into the family, celebrity. And when he came, I was nervous. I was definitely nervous about it. But once again, I was in barber college providing haircuts every single day, for 5 hours a day. And I knew, I know I can leave him looking better than he can. Exactly. Back to the original. So it's like, all right, okay, let me set this. He's going to definitely leave looking better than he came. I was definitely nervous about that. But then once it was complete and he looked in the mirror and said, it's okay. Like that was my first payment.
Wait, hold on. So he said it's okay?
No.
Or is he saying
no, like he likes it. Like I'm talking about everybody looks in the mirror.
Like outside.
No, not like that. Not like that. No, we was rocking. So I'm talking about every time you hand somebody the mirror, and they validate that this
they give their stamp of approval.
They give their stamp of approval. That's what I mean. They give their stamp of approval. That is like that. At me as a barber, that was my original first form of payment. You know what I mean? That was my first form of payment. So once I got that gave me more confidence, you feel me, the next time around. So when it ended up being that I ended up cutting, the next, form of celebrities, the next celebrities, and the next experiences, it kind of, it grew, and I got to the point, because to be honest with you, so he paid me for that cut. I ended up cutting him for the 2 a.m. music video. He called me out to L.A., asked me to come out there and be the barber on set. I ended up cutting him and Sage the Gemini, but didn't charge either of them for the haircut because of the experience and the exposure that it gave me under that amount of pressure. Now I know that celebrities would want me to cut their hair for a music video. So now I can charge for this service because I've been deemed as approved by celebrities. And so if I want to, I can now call myself a celebrity barber because I have cut celebrities, for a music video.
So you can't be a celebrity barber if you ain't never cut no celebrity's hair,
right? But a little side note on that. Now, those experiences actually led me to treat all my clients as celebrities now because I cut so many youth. You have no idea, who's going to be who.
Right,
you know what I mean? You could be cutting the next NFL superstar, you know what I mean? Or the next NBA or the next, who knows who it's going to be. But
shout out to Jericho Johnson.
Yeah, shout out to Jericho Johnson.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug.
I knew Jericho when he was at REO High School.
Right.
Facts. That you never know. There's so much potential locked up in people. But that being said, it was those experiences that led me to when I got the phone call from Michael B. Jordan's assistant to be like, okay, well, let's charge for this one. We could definitely do it. We've cut enough. We've had enough experiences to now not feel like an imposter, even though at that point, like that was the biggest cut. It felt like, but each moment led up into that experience, and each moment gave me the confidence to where when I got there, I felt like, okay, I'm where I need to be. I'm where I'm at, and I can feel confident in this.
I got a question for you guys. With us all being men with families, what did you say the other week? You said, I'm a man of one woman, something like that. We all married. We all have kids. Is experience the only thing you use to add value to your time, if that makes sense? And the reason why I asked that is because I know for me, trying to find balance in my life, anytime I take on a job or I take on another responsibility, I kind of think, okay, what time am I taking away from my family to do this? And that's how I value my time. Do you guys have that same experience? Are there other experiences that you might use to kind of add value to your time? What do you think?
I would say the best way that it was explained to me, and it actually was like in a book that I read, and basically was saying like the older you get, the more balls that you have to juggle, right? And the balls that you juggle is your faith, your health, your family, your relationships, and your career, basically, right? Your career and your finances kind of are interchangeable, right? And it says all four of the other balls are glass.
Oh,
And yeah, all four of the other balls are glass, and your job and finances are made of rubber. And so as you're juggling them, you wanna put priority on the glass balls, because the thing is, though they're made of glass and it's thick glass, if they drop, they can chip and it's gonna be irreparable. Like you can't repair that. Whereas if you drop the job, the career, the finances or whatever, it'll bounce back. It'll bounce back, right? And so for me, it's like, okay, I gotta put priority, like, so I gotta definitely make sure that like my faith is on point, and with that being that I'm not forsaking the fellowship, right? I'm staying in fellowship, I'm staying in connection with people around me, and not just to have people around me, but people that care about me, that will tell me, "Hey, dude, you tripping? Like you spend a little, you're paying a little too much attention to that rubber ball, right?" I have to make sure that I make a priority about my health, right? Because if I'm not taking care of myself, I can't even, none of the other stuff even really matters, at that point. You know what I'm saying? And that's something that I'm trying to be better about. But definitely, like, man, I told my wife the other day, like, there's only one of you. You know what I'm saying? I can't get another one. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with my children. Like my children, there's only one of them. I can't get another one. And so, I definitely prioritize, like, just my experiences. Like, okay, if things get busier, because I look at things in seasons, right? I try to keep things, you know, basically in seasons and in spurts of time. So like, there are some seasons where we're just gonna be like straight, you know, pedal to the metal. We gotta go. We're busy, but we also have to be mindful to stay connected and checked in with each other.
Right.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So for me, like right now, and I think also the other thing to it is that there is the universal truth of you make time for what's important to you.
Right.
You make time for what's important to you. So I think we highly underestimate the amount of time that we spend watching TV, on our devices and all that kind of stuff. And I mean, like, I'm not talking about like you being tuned into this podcast right now.
Right.
What I'm talking about is that you just mindlessly looking at reels, and you know, whatever it is that you just mindlessly scrolling across.
Yeah.
But because if you cut out some of that time, you would find that you have a lot more time to be productive. And to be in meaningful connections with you know, the people that are in your life, specifically, you know, your spouse and your children. So that's kind of what my take is on it.
Got you. I guess so. When it comes to like considering your skill or your trade valuable, is that what you're saying, Jay?
Yeah, to the most part, because I mean, we're not just a barber, we're not just a producer, we're not just a media person.
Right.
We're multifaceted in the sense of we got different segments of our lives.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think there's a transparency, and there is an honesty that has to take place too, especially when you're putting a dollar amount on your time, right? So for instance, have you guys ever seen that? Man, there's an image of people trying to look over a baseball field.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, what would be equal essentially as like if everyone had the same the same stand, right? But in all honesty, the shortest person to have the tallest stand, the tallest person should have the shortest stand, and so on and so forth. And I feel like that's true. That's true. That's being fair, right? That's being fair in that instance. Because if it was all the same level, the shortest person wouldn't even be able to look over to watch the game. So I think in regards to when it comes to putting a dollar amount on your service, you have to be honest about where you're at, wherever you're at, whether it's starting out or whether you're extremely seasoned, and there's a lot of demand on whatever it is that you have to offer. If there's not much demand on whatever it is that you have to offer, well, then your price probably isn't going to be as much as someone who is in very, very high demand, but so that's on the side of being the one offering the service, but you also want people on the other side of the transaction that see value in your time, right? So like for me, when it comes to charging after hours or, holiday pay, like I have to put a premium on that service because if I charge the same on holidays or after hours cuts as I do on regular days, everybody would come to me, on Sundays and Mondays, or everyone would come to me to get their haircut so they could be fresh the day of Thanksgiving or Christmas Day. You know what I mean? So I think you want to have that mutual respect for whoever it is that's on the other side of that transaction. And then if that isn't there, well, maybe you don't want to transact with that person. You know what I mean?
But that also kind of goes to the analogy that you said about the dudes peeking over the fence at the game, because the game actually probably has paid customers that go inside. I'm just saying. Like nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about that. These dudes talking about the stools and the stands they're standing on. How come you ain't sitting in the stands watching the game because you ain't paid to get in?
Right.
So why are you gonna complain anyway?
Right.
Get out of here with that.
Right.
Like, I mean, at the end of the day, let's just be honest.
That's happened to me too many times where like I'm gonna be transparent. Like I suck at text messaging people. I'm terrible at it.